Hello everyone. So today I'm going to show you another game. This game was again played in Charlotte Chess Center. It was played in a Blitz tournament. So the time control is 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment, and my opponent's rating is around 1250. My rating is around 1300. So it was pretty even matchup. So I hope you like this game. I'll first show the live game without any commentary, and in the later half of the video I'll show my analysis of the game. So if you just want to see the analysis, you can directly jump to the later half of the video. Otherwise, see you there. Enjoy the game. So let's get back to the game. I was playing with black pieces. My opponent was white. He started with e4. I played d5. In blitz, I play this a lot of times because e5 is most common. So I don't want to get into my opponent's preparation from move one. So I play something different, which is not played a lot. So he took the pawn. I took with the queen. Developed the knight. I put my queen back. He got space with d4, knight to f6, c4, bishop f5, knight development. I pushed my pawn here. I sometimes even play like e6, but I thought like he got lot of space here because this knight is also covering these two squares. These pawns are covering all these four squares. So I thought, yeah, let's just do this. So I also get hold of these two squares. So I played c6. He put the bishop here. I usually put my bishop back so that like if he takes now, I take with this pawn and I get an open rook file here. So he didn't take and he instead castle. I played e6. He put his rook on e1. Bishop here, just pinning this thing. So here till now it's equal game, like everything is good from both sides, so nothing to worry about. Then I pushed my pawn. So this was a big mistake actually. I pushed my pawn. I don't know why I pushed this pawn, because whenever I want to, in these type of structures, I want to push this pawn, then I usually first capture this bishop here. Why? Because like when I push this pawn, then he can capture, and now I can no longer capture with this pawn to open my rook, and if I capture with this pawn, then it opens up my king side, which is not great for me. So that's why. So here he has two good moves actually. One of them gives him an advantage of plus 1.3. The second one, which is the best move, gives him an advantage of more than 2. So the second best move is bishop takes here. Why? Because I have to take back, like let's say if I take this bishop, then he will first take this, and if I have to take this, then he'll simply capture this pawn, and my king is under attack, the rook is in a great square, this knight can jump here, this queen can come in the game, and it will be deadly for me. So instead here, so if I take like here, if we take this bishop, then if I already showed what happened if I take with this pawn, but if I take this bishop, then he can do rook to e6. Now he can't capture this rook because this bishop is pinning the king, and let's say if he capture this bishop, then he get a great attack on me because his structure is broken on this side. Now I will, like, he can play queen to c2, and he's attacking this pawn. This rook is great here, this other rook will come in the game, this knight can come here or here, and yeah, it will be deadly. So that's why these all moves were good. But instead of capturing this bishop here, the best move for white which he played in the game is this, because first he takes this bishop, this knight. Now I have to take back. I took in the game, and now the only move which gives him advantage, like this move also gives him advantage, but the best move which gives him advantage is bishop takes. Now I have to take back, so the material is equal, but now this pawn is hanging, and in the game I also didn't see that this pawn was hanging, and I thought just that my structure is broken, and my opponent also didn't see this. So instead he here played d5. He thought like he will pin my king with this pawn and he can capture this later, but instead he could have captured like right now. So anyways, like he played d5. Here I was thinking and thinking, is there a way to save this pawn? But I thought there is no way to save this pawn, and if somehow I play something weird and my king is again under attack, I didn't want that. So I thought let's just sacrifice this pawn, and so I here played the best move as shown by the computer, which is castle. So now he can take the pawn, but like even although he can take the pawn, my king is safe, and it's like not great advantage for him. It's still plus 1.1. So he took the pawn. I wanted to exchange his super strong rook here because this rook is a monster here. Once this queen comes in the game, like it will be very deadly for me. So he put his queen on e1, so that if I capture here, he can just capture with the queen, and it was really a check, and later he can put his other rook in the game. So I developed my knight here, so he took here. So here I even thought like, what if I just capture this? But if I capture this, he can simply like do this, and my queen is gone. So that's why I have to put my knight out, so that now if he captures, I capture, and if we take, then this rook is opened, and now this rook can capture this queen. So that's why I put my knight to d7. He captured, obviously. I took. Now he could have just taken this pawn also, but yeah, he played actually the best move as shown by the computer, rook to d1. So he's actually pinning this knight and this queen, which is great for him. And also, like, there is double battery here. So if let's say I want to move my king anywhere away, so if I go there, then this is game over, because he'll get the extra rook. So he takes, he took my rook, I took his rook, but he got this rook also, and it's with a check, so all like gone. Now I can go here, but he will take this knight too, and this will be game over. So I didn't want that. Here instead I can't go here because rook can directly capture it, and if I go somewhere like really deep away from the action, then he can simply take this knight, which I didn't want. So here I knew I was like worse, so I just played queen to c8, keeping an eye on this knight, and if he now takes, I can simply take, but still this loses this knight, and he played the best move, rook to e8. I have to take back, then he takes back, I have to take, and now this knight is hanging, and he obviously took this knight, takes. So now as you can see, he has this extra knight. uh, I have like rook and bishop, he has a rook and knight for that, so he's obviously winning the game. But like, I wanted to still fight somehow, because it's a blitz game and he can make mistake. So I started with this push g5. Now usually in such games, when you are like worse, and you know, you are down a piece, but the time is less, so you should create little threats, so that your opponent like fumbles or something, and he maybe gets under pressure and makes some mistakes. So the idea of this move was actually like, his back rank is weak, like if this knight moves anywhere, I can simply give him checkmate here. So that's why this knight is very important for his defense. So I push this pawn first. Why? Because let's say he just captures my pawn, then I'll attack here. Now he has to move back, like knight d2. But still, like, I will give him a check here. He can obviously block, but it's just that the threat is there. So it's in his mind, and it's a blitz game. So here he just pushed h3 after I played this, so that he gets a breathing square for his king. I push the pawn so that I can maybe open this side, and anyway this pawn is loose and the rook can capture it, so why not. So he attacked my other pawn, I defended the pawn, he went for the pawn. So here I was thinking that like how I can create more threats. I thought there is no more threats, and later when this knight comes in the game, it will be not great for me, and I can capture this and ruin his pawn structure, and somehow with my rook try to attack these pawns. Because now, like, even though he has an extra piece, but if I manage to exchange all my pawns with like his all pawns, then he has like, it will be difficult for him to checkmate me with just rook and knight versus my rook. So that was my plan, and here I just attacked another pawn. He took one pawn, I took. He defended his c3 pawn. So here now we'll both try to put our king in an active position, because major pieces are gone like queen and all, so we can afford to put the king in the game here. Rook b3 here. So he started pushing this pawn. Now this pawn is a passed pawn, and once pushed it can become a queen, and I was worried that I don't know like how I can win this game or even survive the game. But here actually he played a4, which was not great, because obviously I can just take the pawn. In time pressure he just blundered this pawn. Again king to e2, king to d5, king to d3. So here I got a chance, because I played this move, rook to a2, thinking that I'll capture these pawns. Like here the best move for him was knight to d2. So he's obviously better, so he should not let me exchange all these pawns, and now this knight is blocking this line. His king is super safe here with this pawn and all, and I have to put my rook somewhere else to try to attack these pawns, but it will be too late and he can start attacking first. But here instead of this rook knight to d2, he played rook to b7. He got greedy. He thought like, okay, let's just lose these pawns, but he will attack these pawns and get these pawns. But like I am attacking first, I am getting the pawns first, so it will be great for me. So I obviously took the pawn. He took here. Now here I obviously took this pawn. Now the advantage is already like very less. Earlier he had like +3 advantage. Now it's just +1.3 or something. Here the best move for him was like he gives me a check first, then I have to go like here, and then he goes maybe 95 or something to try to get an attack here, go here and attack here. But instead of all this, when I took, he gives me a check. Obviously I went king to c5, and so here I was also not like I was thinking what can be his best move, but I was also couldn't find the best move because it's difficult. These two pawns are good here and I'm now attacking this and this, so it will be difficult. So after I played king to c5, he just brought his rook back in the game, and now I attack this knight and this pawn together. He has to do something, so he defended the knight, I took the pawn. Now I was very happy because I got two passed pawns, and I'll start pushing these to create attack. He gave me a check, I went back. He put his king near these pawns so that when they are pushed, the king can come and take this. I started pushing with like tempo. I attacked the knight. He gives me a check first to push my king back somewhere, and so I put king to d7. He put a knight in the game. Now my game was just like, okay, you want to checkmate me, you can checkmate me, but I can't see a checkmate right now, and till then I'll just push my pawns, and once I get a queen, it will be game over for him. But obviously he tried to defend, so he put his knight back. I just pushed the pawn. He went his king to f3, h4, king here. Now here I just give him a check. He went here. I can't take this knight because his rook is protecting, but still I was very happy till now. And here when I push this pawn, like obviously I had like very less time on the clock, and I was under pressure, like 5 or 4 seconds left, and I missed that he can simply take this pawn. So when he took the pawn, I was shocked. I thought, okay, now it's all over again. But then in a second I thought, okay, I can get his knight, no? And which I did in the game. I played the move rook to g2, gave him a check. He can't take my rook obviously because my pawn is defending it, and he has to move the king away. So he moved to king to h1, and now I took the knight. And after this I thought, okay, the tables have totally turned. Now I have a passed pawn, his extra knight is gone, and he has to first take this pawn. Meanwhile my king will come back in the game and take this pawn, and then I'll queen this pawn. So it was like everything changed in just a matter of seconds. So he attacked my pawn. I just wanted my king to come back in the game. He attacked my rook. I defended. I went to attack his pawn. He gave me a check. Now this was a bad move. Here it was still okay. He should never let my king come back in the game. This rook is blocking all these things. But he gave me a check. I came downwards. Another check. I came downwards. So now he actually can't take this. If he takes, I take. My king is like, my king will take this. His king is too far away from the game, and I'll just queen the pawn. So that's why he didn't take, which was good for him. But here he wanted to just keep doing this back and forth. But I had a plan. My plan was rook to d3 and then this. Now, which I did in the game. He went king f2. I did this. So the computer is showing is only minus 0.3, but it's not accurate because the depth is less here, the computer, but it's actually completely winning, because like if he take this pawn, then I'll simply take like this pawn and his king is still away and I will win the game. So which he didn't do in the game, and he actually captured my rook, which is totally lost because now I took the rook. So here you can see you can't take with the pawn. If you take with the pawn, you are completely losing. Why? Because he'll queen first. Now my king can no longer defend, take this pawn. Like whatever I do, he'll just queen first and gives me a check, and he will win the game. So that's why it was important here to take with the king. Now his king first has to go here to take this pawn, which he did. I took the pawn here, and here it was an easy win because his king is too far away, and I'll simply, so he did king g3. I just, yeah, I could have just pushed this pawn also, but I wanted to block his king, so I played king c2. Now he can't go here or here, so he has to go up first, and then I'll simply push, and my king is just creating a wall of blockage here. So yeah, after that we played some moves, and yeah, now just I wanted to give him a checkmate with king and queen. And after he went here, I just put my king queen here, and he knew it was game over, so he resigned at this point. Why? Because like whatever he does, if he goes here, I can simply go here, and like whatever he does, let's say he does this, then I will simply do this. He has to go here, and I can checkmate him. So there are a lot of ways to checkmate. So this was the game. I hope you enjoyed the game. It was an interesting game. I was down a piece, but still I was somehow able to manage and come back.